So there is always money to be made. It's just, are you insightful enough and are you capable enough to take advantage of it?
And you're absolutely right. And as you were saying that, I was thinking, would the younger me have just said, pandemic, oh my God, you've got no sales, but you got a team, you've got an office to pay for, you got staff payroll to meet and what have you. Now's a good time to launch a new business, right? So I don't know if that younger me would have had the confidence to take that risk because it was a risk.
Right. You just read my mind. It's always a risk. Opening a business is always a risk. Like I don't want to encourage people like, oh, the market's crashing, I'm going to open a business. No, it's a risk, right? You have to understand that it's a gamble. You could lose your money and your time, and you have to be prepared. You have to make good decisions. Because if you don't have a nest egg and you quit your job and to open a business, you're probably going to be in trouble.
But I think you've got to make good decisions and you've got to make tough decisions. Okay. Now, going back to what you said, people said, no, I'm shutting my business down. That's it, done. If that was a tough decision, thought through based on the information available at the time, and then you made that decision, that's one thing. But if it was like I saw a lot of people knee-jerk reaction, okay, so I think there's that slight difference there, right? Because I didn't suddenly just say, oh my God, I'm going to launch a new business. I looked and thought, if you launch a new business, what would you launch? And I didn't deviate. I did not go from the where my knowledge base was my client base. I just launched a different service to the same client base, so I won't have to go hunting for brand new clients, and so it was a real easier transition. Okay, so when I done it, that was what I looked at. I was like, okay, what can I do? And I was really, really fortunate in the sense that I've got some really amazing clients, and I was able to talk to them and say, okay, this is how I'm thinking of pivoting. Right. So I was fortunate. But the other thing we haven't talked about, and I think is really, really important, get yourself a coach. I didn't do that soon enough. I wish I had done that earlier, but again, don't know what I don't know. And coaching wasn't really a thing. There were life coaches. I'm not quite sure. No disrespect to life coaches. I know what they do. I needed business coach, right? So
Right.
one of the if I was redoing this, I would get a business coach who understands my area of expertise. Okay, so they understand the industry. And the other piece is if you're outgrowing your business coach, change your business coach.
Right. And I think that that's why you have so much success as a coach, because you coach in the recruitment industry. You show people how to set up their own business to become a recruiter. And it's very specific. And you get some people just get a life coach. And I'm not saying life coaches don't work. I mean, they work for a lot of people, but
Hmm.
they satisfy a different need, a different niche.
Yep.
So if you want to become a successful business owner in your industry, find a coach in your industry, right?
Yep.
If you get a
Yep.
life coach for that, you're going to struggle. I mean, anyone can give you an attaboy and an attagirl. Like, you shouldn't even
Yep.
have to pay for that, right? You can go to mom and dad
I
or
was just going to say, isn't that what mum and dad are for?
right. But if I had to pound one point into any business owner, if you are going to get a coach, get one in your industry.
Yeah. When you're looking for a coach, and it's going to be different stages of your business, why do you need that coach? Okay, and bear with me on this one. During the pandemic, one of the needs I had needing a coach was mindset. I remember this one individual, senior executive, he'd literally just handed his notice in at his previous company. They'd let him go, as in, yeah, great, gives the keys, go and take 2 weeks out, start your job 2 weeks later. So he had done that. The company he's going to had pulled the offer.
Wow.
I remember having this conversation with him, and I remember it was a placement of mine. The client was mine. My client pulled the offer. And I remember talking to this guy on a Friday, because first I was saying, look, we're going to delay this start. But after a while, they're not delaying it, right? After a couple of weeks. And I remember having to say to him, I don't see this happening, right? I felt sick, right? And he was very, very professional about it and what have you. But I heard his wife burst into tears in the background. And then he told me the company his wife worked at, they were getting rid of people as well. So she, of course, was then worried that there's zero income coming in. So I had to go and get myself a mindset coach at the time to help me navigate my way through that, because we were having multiple conversations like this. That's what I would also say is, as a business, that may be an area that you need support on. And that's where I would go for a mindset coach as opposed to an industry coach.
Right. No, I think that's an excellent point, because I have done similar things. I think in terms of growing your business or starting your business, getting a coach in your industry works. But at some point, like we said earlier, it's about personal growth. So like, what other things do I personally have to overcome? So sometimes you supplement and you do that, and the other coach maybe just focus on that one, right?
Yep, 100%. I was going to say, I've had 2 coaches at a time.
Me too.
Right? That mindset piece, because I just, like, when I'm working with my clients, we always talk about mindset, because we all know, for the most part, what we have to do. Okay. As salespeople, we know we have to generate revenue. But just its basic, you don't generate revenue, there is no business. There's no money coming into the business, therefore there is no business, right? We know we got to do it. We know we got to pick up the phone. We know we got to negotiate this deal. We know we got to do this. We got to do that. Why do we not do it? Right? And so when it's not a training skill need, because when you have the skill, you know what you got to do, but you're not doing it, that's where that mindset piece is going to come in.